President Trump says he wants Americans to stop getting ripped off. That's why he signed an executive order to try to lower prescription drug costs.
Specifically, Trump wants Americans to pay a similar amount for particular prescription drugs, as do residents of other countries. The RAND Corporation, a public policy think tank, found that Americans pay 2.78 times more than 33 other comparable nations for prescription drugs.
Here's President Trump explaining the situation with a characteristic touch of humor.
A friend of mine who's a businessman, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88, and in New York I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on?
Ideally, Trump says he wants drug prices lowered by 59%, and if the pharmaceutical industry doesn't play ball with the Trump administration, then Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will impose a price cap that would make U.S. prices match those of other wealthy countries.
Senator Elizabeth Warren downplayed Trump's move, writing in Blue Sky, "This is nothing more than a flashy press release from Donald Trump. Trump should put his weight behind a bill so we can actually lower drug prices. Instead, he and Republicans in Congress are plotting to rip away health coverage from millions of Americans."
Well, this sounds like music to Niall's ears.
I was going to say, and I don't expect you'll be thrilled about President Trump taking a leaf from the Bernie Sanders book, imposing price controls. Well, he's not exactly, but that at least is implied. What do you think?
In fact, many Trump administration officials before Trump was president, when it was Kamala Harris, criticized a Kamala Harris plan to do the same thing. Yeah. Now, look, I'm certainly against price controls because they cause shortages. However, the issue here is this is something we subsidize, and so it's a little bit like higher education or student loans. If you both subsidize something, you, the government, but exercise no control over what the provider of the service can pay for it, they'll just absorb the entire subsidy. Like, okay, I offer something everybody needs, whoever, it's widget. We all need one widget a year. I charge $100 for it. The government says, we want to help people pay for the cost of that. We'll give everybody $80. The price of my widget just became $180.
Right.
Like, it is this very simple thing. You can actually see it very clearly in education more than any other. Multiple economic studies have found that the rising cost of tuitions is just directly tied to how much of the government is willing to pay for it on your behalf. So that's a long way of saying I don't maybe dislike this proposal as much as you might have guessed, even though I am totally against in the abstract the idea of doing price controls. But if you're going to just give people money to cover the cost of something, then you have to exercise some control over what it costs, or else they'll just raise the price so that you have to pay more, the government has to pay more.
Well, look, the basics, as far as I'm concerned, are Americans are paying 3 times more, approximately, than people in other developed countries for drugs. That's obviously wrong. It's not as if drug companies are struggling to make profits. I mean, Merck made, what, $15.6 billion in the last quarter of last year. It's worth about $200 billion. Pfizer's worth about $130 billion. My issue with what Trump did isn't the purported intent, which is to bring drug prices down. It's whether he will follow through after this 30-day pause. Right now, he's kind of asked them politely to do so. And the suggestion is there will be more muscular action taken after 30 days, but we don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I want, before we wrap, I've got to get in my easy fix for this. I have an easy market-based fix for this. You might not even be against it. And it involves deregulating. Right now, why don't you just import the drugs from, they're cheaper in other countries? Why don't we just buy them from there? We can't do that because the FDA makes it illegal to import drugs from other countries. We could have one global market where there's not a different price in different places if you could just have your drugstore provider have it shipped from the UK or France or Germany or wherever it is in the world where it costs less. Amazon does remarkable things with delivery. We're now a global marketplace where you can easily ship things across long distances. The government makes it illegal to do that, which is to the benefit of the drug companies, because then they can charge different prices. Just make it not illegal anymore, and they got to charge everybody the same thing.
I would not.
That's my fix.
I would not actually object to that. This is one of these areas where we have some common ground, because it seems to me that would be equitable, and I wouldn't have an issue with it. Before we wrap, I do want to point out, Robby, though, I think one of the reasons there's some skepticism of this Trump plan on the left is not only whether he will follow through, but is it in some ways a distraction or a smokescreen for what is happening in Congress right now? There you have Republicans proposing these slashing cuts to Medicaid, about $700 billion. And the CBO, which is a non-partisan body, is talking about that plan, if it were enacted, kicking 8.6 million people off health insurance by 2034.
Let me set you at ease. We're just eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse.
We are doing no such thing. We are we are making cuts on the back of poorer people who will end up without health insurance. And I think that is obviously unpopular, rightly so, and I worry that Trump's simply trying to set up a distraction or smokescreen.
Well, and similarly, changes to pricing for drugs, if this is even, is this constitutional? It certainly should not be constitutional for the president to just unilaterally declare a different price for drugs. At the very least, this is a policy that should be approved by Congress, not just declared by the presidency, or else what is Congress even for? If the president has the power to declare what, private sector goods cost all of a sudden, what is... It's just we then just have a unitary government, right? I mean, what is left for Congress to do?
You're not a fan of nationalized government in general.
I am not, and neither were many Republicans until now. So
yeah, but it's all changed because Trump wants it.
Yeah, I think if Kamala Harris was doing this exact thing, it would be not well received by Republicans.
Up next, Trump's attacks on due process for undocumented immigrants reach the national spotlight. Stay with us.